Okay, first thing you'll do is once you've done all the troubleshooting and called tech support, you'll cut off the old probe. You're going to go immediately above the black strain relief, about halfway through, cut the first half, turn it over, cut the second half, bend it 2 or 3 times and it will break off. Then what you'll do is where you've just cut it off, this will be very easy to get the cutters in, or the flush cutters or wire cutters. You come in and you cut it apart. That way you avoid scoring the tape underneath. You could use an X-Acto knife, but you're quite likely to score this and damage it. Once you've done all that, use acetone, clean off the tape, mark your new strip points. The first line is where we strip off the Testwell insulation. We're going to use an X-Acto knife. Before we do that, we'll slide on the strain relief and the other parts. As soon as you put the black Viton on, you're going to put the black strain relief on right away over top of it. This makes sure that you've got the black piece aligned correctly. And you slide that up out of the way. And this one goes on as well. If you have a heat gun, that'll later on become a strain relief. Get the X-Acto knife, strip the wires. Now we take a pair of scissors and we're going to cut up to the flat line. You're going to go about 1/8 of an inch past it. We're going to cut now where that small flat part is. And what we'll do is we'll fold that up. We'll put this small dowel pin in. Inject with silicone. Do the other side. Inject with silicone. The silicone should go up about 1/2 an inch. We're going to cut off these small, or off these little black lines, the clear stuff. You're going to then gently fold that in half. Now I'm going to finish stripping this. I'm going to put this small tube on. This is going to guide where our bend point is. We're going to go just above it and then bend it. Then slide that off, go to the other side. Bend it at about 30 degrees, not quite 45. Then manually bend it again. But this time we're going to crush it completely flat so that the end forms a point essentially. Once we folded it flat, then we're going to open it up at about a 45 to 30 degree angle. And the other one now. We do one last check to make certain that we have everything on here. I see all the parts on, Delrin, Viton, strain relief. We're going to then, we're missing the tube. That's key. That tube will cover the assembly when we're finished. Now we slide this in. This comes down. This small black piece would become the strain relief. You would heat shrink it in place. If you don't have that, we'll rely on that tab of metal to keep the tape in place. We then slide this over. Then this assembly comes down. Everything gets pushed together. We keep the flat part of the transition joint on the top. This black one goes into here. This one goes into there. To do the final assembly, you will locate the dimple. Dimple goes on the top. You then rotate the dimple so that it's at about 90 degrees to where it started, or about 90 degrees away from the flat part. You then, this is sticking a little bit. Normally you would fill that, once that's pushed right in, then you would inject the 5-minute epoxy. Put the syringe in as far as it will go, inject it until it comes out the other side, and then add a little bit as you're withdrawing it to avoid an air void. And you're basically done. That's the detachable probe.